In this video I'll be covering how I did this. Alright boys, fat loss is what I'm going to be talking about today. Now fat loss is a very fucking challenging thing. It is not easy, it's a very hard thing. You need to have a clear plan. You need to have a good understanding of fat loss before you can even think about having a plan and think about the methods that you're going to do, how it's going to work. So I'm going to go over today the 5 stages, the 5 key stages, key factors, necessary things you need to do at each factor, the length of each factor, the length of each stage. I'm going to go over it in detail, what you guys who are trying to lose fat need to know. Completely real in this video. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to be telling you straight up how it is. First stage of fat loss is very dependent on where you're starting from. Like a lot of people will start very overweight, 25, even higher, 30% body fat. But there's also guys who have just got a genetically leaner starting point. Like they've never tracked food, they've got a really poor diet, and they feel fat, but they're only 15% body fat, and they're eating 3 takeaways a week. They're in an office job. So it's genetics do matter very much in the gym, with fat loss, with weight loss, with all of it. So the first thing that we need to understand is what starting point are we at. So I'm going to show some pictures now of where you could be. The only pictures that I'm going to show is a guy at 25%, a guy at 20%, and a guy at 15%. Because if you're any lower than that, like, you're winning. You are winning. You don't even need to watch this video. You're chilling if you're below this point. Like, this is a breakdown of how to lose fat from a high starting point. If you're below 15%, if you're below the pictures that I'm going to show now, you're cool, bro. You fucking been blessed. We'll obviously go into detail about lower percentages further on in the video. I will definitely be talking about below 15%, because below 15%, like at 15%, you don't really look good at this stage yet. You don't actually look good. You're okay. You're classed as healthy. When you are healthy to the average male, but in the gym to maximize aesthetics, to maximize fucking looks maxing, you aren't at the stage you want to be. So if you want to hang on in the video or scroll to the end of the video, do that. It's only if you are lean though, because if you're fucking 25% and now you're going to skip to the end of the video because you want to know how good it's going to be in the end, like, your fucking priorities are messed and you need to watch the whole video if you're fat. I don't want to call you fat, but, if you are fat, you need to listen. So I was going to try and find some guys online and, give you on pictures of just random people online, but it was very fucking hard to find. So I thought, you know what, I'll use myself as the example, and who better? I've been through it. There's the proof that I was very fat. I had a very high body fat percentage. I was silly. I seen Paul McNally bulk up to 100 kilo, then get fucking shredded, and I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. I loved food. I was always overweight, like, as a kid. So I was like, yeah, it was cope. It was real cope. Like, let me bulk up, let me just scram loads of shit food, and it'll all pay off. So it fucks me up. It really did. And I might have a decent bit of muscle. Maybe some would say. I don't think I'm too muscular. I think I look okay. I'm very happy with the progress that I've made. Don't get me wrong. Like, I used to be fat as fuck, and now I'm not. So it don't matter. I'd much rather be lean with less muscle than fucking, beefy and fat. So yeah. But there's three pictures: 25, 20%, 15%. So if you're in the 25%, which you probably are, like, you've got a lot of fat, a lot of visceral and visible fat. It's very easy. This is the easiest part to be in. So I'm going to go into depth now about how to get out of 25% and get down to 20%. But trust me, this is really the best stage to be in. Like, I know It's the worst stage looks wise to be in, but it is the best stage for the mental. You know, to get prepared for your fat loss phase. You know, if you start at 15%, it's much harder to get down to 10 because of the mental challenge. Like, you don't have that much fat to lose, so you don't have momentum. At 25%, get down to 15%. Like, you fucking locked in. You know what to do. You ready. Like, trust me on that. It's not a bad thing to be at 25% body fat right now. So 25 to 20% body fat. You know, this is the best stage to be at. Like I've said, you know, you don't really have to live by the gun and die by the gun at this point. Like, you can have a few digestives, to be honest, and you can still easily get down from 25 to 20%. Let's say you're at 10%, trying to get to 8%. Like, you cannot go off track. You cannot. But to get down from 25 to 20, you don't have to be properly tunnel visioned. I mean, I recommend it. I recommend at any body fat percentage, if you're trying to lose weight, you get on MyFitnessPal, you track every fucking bit of food you put into your mouth. You know, that's what I believe to be the case. Some people don't like tracking calories, which, you know, I can't force you to like it. So, but at this stage, all you've got to do is just not eat as many takeaways. Like, you can have maybe one a week and at this point lose weight. Like, see, I can't have takeaways once a week. I won't lose weight. You know what I'm saying? So this is why you have the ability, you have the little wiggle room at this body fat percentage. You can very easily as well, very quickly take this body fat off. Like, you could do this in 3 weeks. You could go from 25 to 20%, and the changes, like, you will notice very, very visibly. Like, everyone around you will be like, you've lost weight at this stage, because you're going from a pretty fat position to an average position, and people notice that, and that, like, you'll get compliments, you will. And this is where, you know, you start to build the momentum. You see people are realising, and you're getting treated a little bit better, all because you're just eating a little bit healthier. You're walking more. That's one thing you need to do, though. You need to walk a little bit more. You need to be a little bit more active if you're not going to track your calories. But, you know, if you are serious, you will track calories. Like, you have to, and it's better to track from the beginning, because it makes your life easier in the later stages. Like, when you are desperate to get down to the fucking 6-pack abs, everybody with 6-pack abs is tracking calories. Like, everybody, unless you're a fucking genetic freak. You know, everybody that I know who is into the weightlifting, into the gym, looks good, tracks their calories. But at this stage, 25 to 20%, if you aren't already in the gym, you know, get to the gym 3 days a week, do push-pull legs. It's like an hour and a half a day. Three days a week, an hour and a half. You know, it's not too much of a task, and the return on investment, for 6 hours a week is fucking unbeatable. It really is. Like, there's no better investment than the gym and looking good. You know, it transfers to every aspect of your life. You feel better, you're more confident, business goes better. You know, you are just a better man. So yeah, I want you to run a push-pull legs. This is if you're not already in the gym, you don't already have a split, like you're a complete beginner. You know, push-pull legs, it's just the easiest thing to get into. 20 to 15% body fat. Now this one is a lot harder than 25 to 20%. You've got to be a lot more, you know, dialed in. You can't be having too many digestives, if any at all. You know, if you're serious about this, you want to do it fast, or not fast, because I don't recommend, you know, going fast. You want to be in a moderate calorie deficit. You don't want to try and lose 2 kilo a week, because it's not a healthy way to do fat loss. But, you know, you need to, at this point is when I would seriously tell you to get tracking your calories. Like, this is where you need to be on it. You need to be in the gym for sure. But this is also a very good position, because from the 20%, especially if you came from 25%, the difference in 25% body fat to 15% body fat, you're unrecognisable. You really are. Like, this is where you start to develop the physique that looks like you actually train and you are actually serious about it. You know, you don't have abs yet, you're not really veiny. You might get a vein, you might get like one vein, somewhere on the body. And that, that is fucking the biggest motivation when you get that like vein. So at 15%, you will maybe get like a small little bicep vein, something to show you like this is working, this is really working. You won't have the abs, but everything, the body, every little position on the body will start to look better. It'll start to look more tight. It'll start to fit the muscle that you have better. 100% it will. But at this stage, when you're down to 18%, trying to get to 15%, like this is where you can't really be snacking too much. You can't be snacking loads. You can't be having takeaways too much, if at all. You really don't want to be going on nights out regularly. Like any more than once a month is pushing it, in my opinion, to get, if you're serious about this weight loss. Like, life gets more challenging, but it depends on what gives you enjoyment. Like personally for me, enjoyment is this. It is this. So if your enjoyment is degeneracy and eating like shit, feeling like shit, waking up hungover, then maybe fat loss isn't for you. But if this is something that you can find enjoyment, find fulfillment, and find purpose from, then this is for you and you are on the right track 100%. You just have to understand, I've got to give this degenerate shit away. And now we're getting serious. Now we are seriously getting somewhere. 15% body fat to 12% body fat. This is where we have to be on our game. We have to be tracking everything seriously. Seriously, we've got to be in the gym consistently. But this is also the funnest part, because this is when you get to 12%. Like this is probably going to be the best that you have ever looked as well. A lot of people don't just spawn in, like not by putting in any effort. Like everyone at 12% puts in effort. They have a good diet. They either just have always ate healthily and it works for them, or they have developed this diet by a fat loss phase. Like this is where you'll start to get veins. Your abs will start to come. You won't have a six pack. You won't have shredded 6-pack abs yet at 12%. But your V taper starts to come. You're starting to look fucking buff. Like you look a lot more muscular than you did at 20% body fat, even though you've lost muscle and lost a lot of body fat. Like you look a lot bigger. You look better. Girls, women, they start to really notice. Like they're gobsmacked. You're the man. You are literally the man. You walk around. You have that confidence. You have that arrogance because you've put in the hard work. You're determined. You truly are on your journey to becoming the new man that you want to be. Now, I would say it takes around 4 to 6 weeks to get from 15% to 12%. You've got to, I'd probably say you want to be losing about 0.8 kilo a week, maybe a little bit, maybe a kilo a week, but like, you also want to give yourself room. You want to give yourself room. You don't want to try and rush it too much. So, yeah, 0.8 to 1.2 kilo a week is a good place to be at. But just if you're starting to crave loads and stuff, then this is a sign like, okay, let me just go down to 0.8. If you're craving loads on 1.2 a week, go down to 0.8. Trust me, because binges can really start to happen at this point. Food cravings start to come very much. It's happened to me quite often. Well, it did at the start because I was on a crash diet. This is the thing, like, you can't cheat fat loss. You have to take it slow. You have to have a plan. This next phase, 12 to 10% body fat, is when you are really fucking lean. You look the best. Like, you look the best in your fucking friendship group. You're the best at your work. You are the man. You really are. If you got a good bit of muscle, if you've been training as well at this, and you're now at this body fat percentage, like the attention that you have, everyone wants to know how you've done it. Everyone's asking you, how have you lost so much weight? You look so good. All of this, like, this truly happens. Everyone's intrigued. Everyone's a bit jealous as well. Everyone respects it though. Everyone has a lot of respect because they wish that they could do this, you know. So this stage is a very, very hard stage. It's only a small little percent, 2%, you know, it's nothing. We've lost, if we came from 25%, we've lost 13%. But no, it's not. It's not like these percentages now, they're different. They're much different. It's not like going from 25 to 23%. Not at all. Fucking far from. It's like going from 20% to fucking 10%. Like that's how much it changes because of your metabolism. Your metabolism and your body gets used to losing this fat. Like it's seriously, it's a hard stage to be in. The benefits of this is where your abs really start to show. Like when you get to 10%, you will have abs, you know, and everyone's always wanted abs. I've always wanted abs my whole life. Everyone's always had a desire for abs. Your jawline starts to get a lot fucking better. It starts to get tighter. You've got a good jawline now. You're veiny. Your forearms are veiny. You know, you're waking up looking fucking unreal. And this is like, you know, you're in your prime stage right now. If you could maintain this fit physique, you know, maintain this physique, because like life improves so much. To get from 12% to 15%, no, to get from 12% to about 10%, I would say again it takes about 4 weeks. It takes about a month, like of serious dedication. You need to be hitting your protein every day. You need to be eating whole foods. You can't be eating processed shit like that, because those foods are designed for you to keep eating, to keep you weak, to keep you fat. You gotta be eating real food that fucking that the cavemen's were eating. You know, it's an amazing point to be at, but it's also a tricky point to be at. You can't be going out, social life, and not really there, to be honest. It's all in. You are all in at this stage. And now the final stage that I'm going to be talking about is 10% to 8%. Now I've never been this lean. Like this lean takes serious levels of fucking hard work, dedication, mental strength, mental resilience. This stage, if you get to 8% body fat, like, you know, respect, amazing, like properly, because this is the biggest challenge of them all. 8% body fat, like this is photo shoot ready. This is bodybuilder territory. Like, you know, you'll have striations everywhere. Your shoulders will be fucking, your glutes, your hamstrings, like your whole body is peeled, and it's an amazing place to be at. But it's like you don't see people, unless, I mean, you do see people, to be fair, just that maintain this physique, but that's genetics, you know. That is genetics. Like the bodybuilders that get down to this level of leanness, they then go back up. You know, this isn't maintainable year round whatsoever. 8% body fat. You know, it's for a holiday. It's for a boxing fight. It's for all of that. It's not for lifestyle, because also at this, like, you want to enjoy your life as well. You do want to be able to go and have a meal. Like at 8%, if you're trying to maintain 8% body fat, you won't be able to go out for a meal. You have to be eating tuna and lettuce every day, which is what I do. No, not lettuce, but tuna every day. And I don't complain about eating tuna every day. I fucking love it, to be honest. But it's also 8%, you know, your sleep takes a big hit, your mental health, like you get angry at little things, you get fucking, you know, life at 12 to 10% is better than 8%, 100%. Like looks wise, you know, because you still look amazing at 12 to 10%. 12 to 10% is the range that I would suggest you guys to aim for completely. Like if you want to get down to 8% to push yourself and test yourself and see how it goes, it's very possible to do it. Like you can definitely get there. I'm not saying don't try please, like, because you'll thank yourself as well. Like if you get down to that body fat, this is what I'm saying as well. If you do one successful cut, like you aren't really ever going to fuck it up unless something really bad happens to you, like, and you completely lose love for the gym and love for fitness. But the results that you'll get from this successful cut will give you just the motivation and the mental strength to always stay lean. Like, but yeah, overall, I'd say get to about 10 to 13% body fat, and life will fucking drastically improve. You'll have more women, you'll have more attention, you'll have more respect from guys. 13 to 10% body fat, boys. You've got this. And if you've got any questions about fat loss, you need any help, you're intrigued about what split I run, you want to know what the best split is in my opinion, leave your comments, because I'll be very happy to reply to them and to interact with you guys. So thank you for watching.